Pack? My name is Vahlkor and welcome to Dauntless. Now today we're going to be talking about the new patch update that's going to be coming out on December, and we yesterday finally got the tease, finally got the new weapon, and it's insane. I am so freaking excited about this weapon because honestly, like I kind of knew, like we all kind of knew it was going to be this kind of like spear weapon, and now that we got it, like I've seen how it is, like we see the little trailers in the post and it's like, Jesus, this weapon is insane. But anyways, if you like this video, make sure to check out the links in the description where you can find our Twitter, our Discord channel, and above all guys, if you're not part of the Wolfpack, hit that subscribe button and join the Wolfpack. Also, remember to check out the links for the giveaway, participate, make sure to tell your friends because we're going to be giving away keys for Dauntless closed beta and you're going to have a chance to test this weapon in the coming weeks. Alright, so essentially what happens is that we finally got a tease trailer, not trailer, but we kind of like got a blog post talking about the new improvements to combat and specifically talking about the Pike, which is the new weapon coming out for Dauntless. And there's a couple of things I want to say about this weapon. The first thing is, this weapon is OP as f. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say this. This weapon is just insane. At least that's what it looks like from the video and from what we can see in this post. And essentially, the Pike is a spear. It's kind of like a spear, and it reminds me actually of a combination between a lance and a insect glaive from a game Monster Hunter. And it's really insane. I kind of think this weapon it's gonna need some serious tweaking once it goes live. But anyways, a couple of things that the weapon brings is the primary attack is actually a thrust attack, and you can use this in any combination with your primary and secondary attack. The secondary attack is actually a slash. Now, the thing to take away from this is that the thrust attacks do piercing damage, and the kind of like slash attack does slashing damage. So both of them serve different purposes depending on what you're actually doing in the fight. And when you're performing the thrust attack, you can actually dodge left and right and kind of do, if you guys remember Monster Hunter, if you guys remember evade lancing, that's kind of what it feels like. Now it is unclear if we're actually going to be getting iframes every time we dodge while we're attacking. But honestly, it actually looks pretty insane, and I think it's gonna be a very versatile weapon when it comes to actually going into combat. Now, as I said, the actual secondary attack is a slash attack where the hunter is kind of like moving the spear around and just doing slash attacks, and this actually serves as a pivot point where you're combating, you're actually fighting, so you don't have to stop attacking and moving. You can actually use these attacks to kind of like pivot yourself around and readjust in the middle of the fight, which is actually very useful. And another thing to note is that the combos are actually, what they say here is actually kind of interesting. Let me go ahead and read it to you. Combos flow naturally from the new polearm. Instead of memorizing specific combo inputs, slayers can string together primary and secondary attacks as they see fit. Combo chains are completed with powerful finishing moves once either 4 primary attacks or 2 secondary attacks have been used in a single combo. So this is very interesting, guys, because essentially what it's saying here is that there's no set way of actually using this weapon. You can string together a combination of these attacks, and let's say that you're not ready to commit for that finishing attack, well, you can continue stringing together attacks as long as you don't meet the criteria of doing 4 primaries or 2 single attacks in a row, which is actually very interesting. This is going to change combat in Dauntless itself, and this is why I'm thinking this weapon might need some tweaking, because all the other weapons have predetermined combos and they have the set of times, and you're actually kind of committed to one string, one chain, and it's actually very interesting to see what they're doing with this weapon. They're actually letting you have more freedom when it comes to fighting, and it lets you have more actual choices that you need to make. You need to be very sure of what you're doing, and you need to make sure that you're gonna commit to that finishing move to actually deal out a lot of damage. And another thing that is actually interesting, if you've been watching these clips and you watch these videos, you notice that whenever he does combos, you know that the behemoth kind of like has this glowing sphere. That's the, well, it's not a sphere, it's like a glowing point in their body. That's actually what the piercing damage does. The piercing damage actually generates a weak spot in the behemoth, which is going to allow you to do a lot more damage. So being able to use your combos, exploit these weaknesses with your friends or with your companions in the hunt, is actually going to separate this weapon from the other weapons. Now, there's also been the desire to have an actual ranged weapon in the game. I personally want to have a bow or some kind of like rifle, pistols or something like that. But this weapon, the War Pike, actually has a secondary kind of like use, which is where you're going to be using your back end of your pike to actually shoot out a beam of ether energy. And that depends obviously on the element of the weapon. That's what I'm guessing. It's probably going to be like fire, lightning, and all those things along the line, depending on which weapon you have. And the way it works, it seems to be actually pretty cool, because all you have to do is, once you're fighting the behemoth, you're going to be kind of like landing hits, and you're going to be getting kind of like etheric energy imbued in your weapon. And basically all you have to do is hit the special key button to kind of like translate that energy that you already have into ammunition, or into shells is what they're calling it. And depending on how much energy you have, the stronger those shells are going to be. So it's kind of like the new hammer mechanic. You know how when you miss the active reload, then you have lesser quality shells, and when you do actually have an active reload, you have powerful shells. So essentially works the same way, but instead of just having an active reload, you have to actually have a lot of energy accrued in order to have powerful shells, essentially. And once you're ready to actually commit and do that attack, all you have to do is hold the Q or the special ability button in the controllers, and that way you can actually shoot it out into the behemoth's target. But honestly, it seems very, very cool. It seems like a very cool mechanic where you actually have to be careful, because if you actually get hit while trying to accrue energy, you will lose all the energy that you've accrued already. And I'm guessing that once you convert that energy into shells, that's gonna be actually a safe spot for that energy, only for you to use it whenever you need. And honestly, when I saw this in the actual videos, when I saw that clip that the guy is charging the attack and just shooting, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, it's actually very, very cool. It's very interesting to see that we're actually getting some sort of more kind of like a range attack, even though it's not reliable, because you probably will not be able to continuously get as much range power, because I'm guessing there's going to be a limit on the actual range of the beam, and it's going to be a limit of how many shells you can have. It's very interesting that we're actually having a step into that direction, because like I said, I personally would like to have a full-on range weapon, something like I don't know, like an ether rifle, or like dual pistols, or something along those lines. It doesn't have to be, you know, insane range. It just has to be something that feels like it's long range. And when I say long range, and again, I don't mean super long, I just mean something that allows you to feel like you're actually a bowman or a sniper rifle guy or something like that. I think that's actually gonna be pretty cool, and hopefully that's something that we will get to see eventually in the game. Also guys, another thing that we need to talk about the weapons is the actual damage types. Now, I mentioned a little bit of the piercing damage, and I mentioned a little bit of the slashing damage, and we all know the blunt damage is in the game, but it was kind of unclear what they did. Unless you have previous knowledge on what this type of games are kind of like used to, then you probably didn't have a clue of what that meant. But now we actually have something, and it says this: bringing with them enhancements to the weapons you know and love, and creating opportunities for truly memorable moments of collaboration. Each weapon will now have a default damage type, which will change the way that it interacts with the behemoth and behemoth parts. Blunt damage, mainly dominant of the hammers, is your best bet to staggering behemoths and breaking bones and armor. The newly introduced War Pike deals piercing damage, inflicting wounds on the behemoth that your fellow slayers can attack for additional damage. Slashing damage, dealt by the blades of sword, axes, and chain blades, is effective at severing tails and other parts. This is actually very interesting, because we actually did have kind of like an idea what they would do, but now we actually have confirmation of what they do. And essentially, this is gonna play a big role coming up in this progression system, because if you want to get a part that is from the head or from a part of his plate, then you're actually going to need a hammer to break those parts easier. Obviously, if you need to cut a tail, you need to use slash damage. And the actual piercing seems very interesting, because it sounds like it's an opportunity to actually inflict a wound in one of those parts so that it takes increased damage and you can break it faster. So honestly, all this is actually very cool, actually going to change the way we play this game, and it's actually more progression and making the game more in-depth, and it's actually very cool. I'm really excited to see what this new weapon interaction is going to be. I'm really excited to start playing with more people and actually find a group with the new progression system coming up, which I'm hoping that we get more information, because like I said, this is the first post that they're talking about it, and I'm thinking there's gonna be more things coming out before this update hits in December, and I am super stoked, guys. Like, the War Pike is probably one of the best weapons that I want to try. I mean, all the weapons are good. I can't really, like I said before, I can't really enjoy the axe as much because it's just too slow for my taste. But honestly, I do love all the weapons, and the War Pike seems to be insane. So anyways, I think that's it for this video. I just wanted to kind of go through and show you guys these weapons, show you guys what I think, and show you guys the information that is being presented to us. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Are you guys excited for the War Pike? I am super excited for this weapon. I can't wait till I get my hands in it and start slashing and piercing behemoths down. I think it's gonna be so insane, and I'm honestly can't wait to see what else is in store for us, because this game keeps getting better every single time. But anyways guys, again, make sure to check out the links in the description where you can find our Twitter, our Discord channel, and above all guys, if you're not part of the Wolfpack, hit that subscribe button and join the Wolfpack. And remember to share the giveaways with your friends. If you want to get a chance to get into this game, try out the new weapon, the new War Pike coming out in December, try out the new kind of like weapon progression system and character progression system. Go ahead and share that giveaway to your friends and make sure to participate, because like I said, it's only getting better guys. This game is insane. And anyways, my name is Vahlkor, and I'll see you next time.